Moving on to long ball number 3 here today. Club rebrand explainers have crossed the Atlantic, Jason. And one of the oldest clubs in the UK and the world had a little bit of fun with it. But the club who, put their toe out there and explained their rebrand, a team that rebrand majorly, kind of a butt of jokes anyway for their short-term history. Milton Keynes Dons, formerly MK Dons, formerly Wimbledon, put out a rebrand, and it's got a very American familiar explainer.
Yeah, so you shared this with me, Rob. This is Milton. I didn't realize that this involved changing their name, that they went from MK Dons to Milton Keynes Dons. And yeah, so they posted this new rebrand with their explainer, which I'm going to bring up bigger for us to pick apart. And then Port Vale responded, and we're going to look at what Port Vale is saying here in response to Milton Keynes Dons. But as you said, the history of MK Dons is part of the story here, right? That this is a club,
the heel of the EFL, really.
Yeah, and this is because there are as far as I'm aware, the only club in English football history that has been allowed to sort of relocate the way that an American sports team might relocate. Hence, English and British football fans calling them franchise FC, right? This is and that's denigrating the team. If you're a franchise, well, then you're not really a club, right? And of course, in American soccer, when people who want to take shots at MLS take shots, they say, these are franchises, not clubs, because clubs are better, right? Right, Rob? Clubs are we all agree that clubs are better, I guess, on some level.
What I think is funny about this is that the last article I wrote or read a couple months ago about this club was that their attendance had been really down because their performance had been bad. So it's funny that with attendance going down, the next news story I hear about this team is a rebrand, which is also a very American thing.
Very American thing to do. They have a very nice stadium that they built for this team because they were allowed to relocate from Wimbledon, south of London, to Milton Keynes. By the way, should we fill in people who don't know why Milton Keynes is also sort of derided as a location, as a locale in England? It's a planned community, right? It's very much
a suburb.
It's a suburb, but it's a suburb that was like created out of nothing, which is again a very American thing that doesn't really happen in a place like England, which has thousands of years of history. Like if a place exists, it exists because the Danes founded it in 962 or whatever. It doesn't really happen that you have these planned communities. So Milton Keynes is a planned suburb. They moved the team there. They moved Wimbledon, which then and that hurt a lot of people because Wimbledon, in the late 80s, early 90s, had a very famous team, Rod. They made a very deep FA Cup run with guys like Robbie Earle and who's the actor guy whose name is escaping me?
He was a Juggernaut in X-Men.
Somebody's going to help us out. It's because it's
Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones.
Thank you. Vinnie Jones, famously in all the Guy Ritchie movies as well. They were on this team that made this FA Cup. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My point is, this is hilarious. So this is what Milton Keynes done.
I'm reading this closer, and some of these are so ridiculous.
Okay.
Which one is the joke between this and Port Vale? It's hard to pick between. But here's MK Dons, the roundabouts of Milton Keynes. Yeah, should definitely include that. That's the history they got. They got roundabouts there.
They have roundabouts. I think it's interesting. It says that the colors, white, black, red, and champagne, okay, those symbolize tradition, pride, and progress. Tradition is interesting in this context. They mentioned that the transition from MK Dons to Milton Keynes Dons marks a coming of age, a team growing alongside a thriving, evolving city. It reflects maturity, ambition, and deeper integration into the fabric of Milton Keynes. All right. We got the red balloon. Apparently they have a balloon in the original Milton Keynes promotional video.
That's some rich history there. That's some rich history.
When they were selling the come move to Milton Keynes, there was a red balloon in that video, and that's become like a symbol of Milton Keynes. Is that really what I'm learning about here?
That's what it appears to be, Jason.
And then they reference the roundabouts. Okay, so again, they put this out. Again, this is not something English clubs do. Remember when Leeds tried to change their badge, Robert. You remember that? It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a headless fan with his arm across his chest or something.
yeah.
And it
That was
got
not well received.
immediately rejected. They didn't bother trying to like do an explainer. I don't think. I think they just dropped it, and then everybody was like, "No," and they went back to the old Leeds badge. Which, by the way, the Leeds badge is too busy and too, very old fashioned. But it's Leeds. It kind of has to be, right? So, so there's Milton Keynes Dons, and here's what Port Vale responded with.
One of the oldest clubs in England, by the way. So the complete contrast of what Milton Keynes is. But yeah, I love these explainers. Top right, pretzel, because who doesn't love a pretzel?
I know. Everybody loves. I mean, there's probably some explanation for why that is there, but at some point, like, go do the research. You have Wikipedia. Go figure it out. You don't need to. You don't need us to. What I don't understand. Not a steak bake. Is that what is like steak like meat? Like that's. I don't understand. Is that supposed to be is a steak bake like a meat pie? Is that what
Yeah.
that is? Okay. All right. So that's not a meat pie is what we're being told, which is good. I need to know what these aren't as much as I need to know what they are.
Yeah, and then the sickle with to honor the sharp wit of the admin. I mean, that's just fun.
I like that the ball is inspired by roundabouts. The ball. That's so funny.
And there's trees in Burslem.
There's trees in Burslem. Oh man, it's really good. I don't get too precious about American clubs doing stuff like this. I mean, I think they're way too they're way too involved. They're way too over the top. Sometimes a thing is just a thing and it doesn't need an explanation. Like I don't remember which team it was, but I famously remember a team putting out a badge and saying that the line across the badge represented the river that they have through town. Because every city's got a river through town. Like what you needed to put and you needed to call. You couldn't just say we like the slash. We like the
It was a fashion choice.
It's so funny that we have to find reasons to explain every element when sometimes it can just look good. And I don't know. Again, we overdo it here, but at the same time, we're making new stuff here, right? We don't have 1876 on our badges because, I mean, unless that's the city's founding, because we don't have clubs, franchises that go back that far, Rob.
They sure don't. And that was good fun. But yeah, Americanism traveling across the pond. If you're watching this video and you haven't hit subscribe yet, do so now. Help Morning Kick Around become one of the central town squares for the American soccer conversation.
Roundabouts. We want to be a central roundabout. We'll stand in the middle and cars will just go around us, Rob. That's what we do.
Conversation circling us. So hit the subscribe button and take it a step farther and become a member. That way you will get priority commenting, early access to videos, badges, emojis, and access to the Discord, which is starting to come alive. Thanks to Nate, producer Jenny, and the others that are already, getting that conversation popping at the Morning Kick Around Discord. Follow us on social media at mkickaround on X, Instagram, Blue Sky. Write us a note, morningkickaround@gmail.com. And you can find us as a podcast. Search Morning Kick Around on your favorite audio platform, or you can also do a donation on coffee.com/morningkickaround. One-time donation, as little as $5 or as much as you want, or do a regularly occurring donation. Thank you to anyone who's already done so, and thank you to anyone who's going to go out right now, hit subscribe, and become a member.